today's episode, we visit what is said to be one of the most haunted places in Nebraska. In the early 1800s, it was known to be the site of the Caban's trading post where furs were traded with Indian tribes in the area. This post, along with several forts nearby, helped attract the flow of early pioneers, which in turn led to the development of Omaha. The land was abandoned for several decades due to the decline of the fur trade, but was eventually donated to the city of Omaha in 1930, then named after Joseph B. Hummel, a longtime park superintendent. There are a number of documented unspeakable events and urban legends surrounding this park. Join us as we uncover the truth and legends of Hummel Park. First off, I've lived near here almost my entire life, so I've heard a lot of stories about this place. But I wanted to visit the park with an unbiased opinion, and I have to admit, it already has a very eerie feel to it. It's confusing to navigate, with random dead ends and roads blocked off for no apparent reason. I wasn't sure where to start. I kept on walking until eventually I came across the trail. Spread out over 200 acres, this rugged forest is filled with winding dirt roads and steep hills. The park includes hiking trails, horseshoe pits, a playground, picnic shelters, and a frisbee golf course. The Hummel Park Nature Center offers environmental educational programs, special nature events, and a summer day camp. There are several informational signs displaying the vast variety of wildlife within the park. I proceeded to hike along the southernmost trails. Every once in a while, I came across some random clothing laying along some of the more secluded areas of the trail. It was kind of strange, but I didn't think anything of it. After all, this park is a known hangout spot for teenagers and partiers. After hiking for a few miles, I decided to call it a day and head home. But just before heading to the car, I came across a few more things. The end of a cut log turned into an evil face. I would assume somebody did this. With 2 dead mice just underneath it. And then a cardboard box off to the side. Again, a little weird, but that was it for my first visit. So not too long ago, Hummel Park was known as a dangerous place with a long history of crime and tragedy, which is why the city now frequently patrols the area and has installed security cameras. In 1930, a man was shot in the chest by bandits. In 1933, a woman's car flipped and landed on her, crushing her skull. In 1933 also, a radio repairman was murdered. In 1936, a military soldier's remains were found. In 1945, an Indian skull was discovered. In 1947, a drunk driver crashed into a hayrack ride, killing one person. In 1949, a man's frozen corpse was found. In 1950, two men armed with a hatchet and hammer attacked and sexually assaulted two women. In 1954, a reported sexual assault of three women. In 1956, a man was tried for sexually assaulting a woman. In 1960, a wife was murdered by a husband and her frozen body was found in a ravine. In 1970, a 15-year-old girl was found dead, shot 3 times after she was left sleeping in a car. In 1973, a 20-year-old woman was carjacked and forced to drive to the park where she was sexually assaulted. In 1983, a prostitute was robbed and killed with a softball bat. In 1984, 2 men were arrested for sexually assaulting a woman at knife point. Also in 1984, a 21-year-old woman was run over and left to die with no suspects. 1985, a woman reported she was sexually assaulted. In 1986, a man was charged with the sexual assault of a 17-year-old woman. In 1988, a released convict was convicted of sexual assault. 1992, a high school student was killed over stolen speakers. In 1999, a man was lured to the park to sell a stereo where he was beaten and stabbed. In 2005, a man was shot in the back by a member of the MS-13 gang. In 2006, the body of a missing 12-year-old was discovered in a shallow grave. In 2008, a 16-year-old lost control of his car and died. In 2013, the body of an unknown man was found. His death was considered suspicious. Though unproven, it has been said that in the early 1900s, lynch mobs hung people from these very trees. So many, in fact, that the trees are thought to bow under the weight of the victims' souls. I decided to take a second visit to the park to focus on the areas I hadn't seen yet, this time with a couple friends. People have allegedly killed themselves here, plunging to their demise on the eastern side of this steep cliff called the Devil's Slide. The Omaha Police Department reports most suicides are initially documented as simply a death report, which makes it difficult to search for an exact number at Hummel. But multiple people still report hearing random screaming and crying. Those roads that were blocked off earlier, there are rumors that it was done to keep people from entering the secluded satanic ritual areas. We decided to explore one of the main areas, the lodge. Inside the lodge, orbs often appear in photos, and people report feeling a mysterious dark presence.
They cleaned it up. We want people to come up here and use it. I wonder if you were supposed to. They bricked up the fireplace, but people bashed it open.
Yeah, I noticed that. Oh, they bashed this one open too. It's the inverted star.
Notice the circular stain around it from past rituals.
How do you tell it's inverted? Which direction does it face? This way?
I don't get how or what I meant by that.
Soccer balls in there, squares up basketball. You should put little babies. Or not little dolls. Little dolls. Oh, Jesus.
Fuck it. Racism.
I agree.
Say anything on this side?
Somebody was burning up in her.
The Morphing Stairs. also known as the Stairway to Hell.
You gotta count them?
I feel like everybody else has already counted them for me.
Yeah, do we really want to go all the way down
I want to see what the fuck that is.
to the depths of hell?
I kinda do.
Dude, the lowest level of hell.
Legend has it that if you count the steps going up and coming down, the numbers will never match up. It's said that if you ever do arrive at the same number, your death is upon you.
So we're in hell now.
Yeah, barely.
At the bottom of the stairs, known as the Devil's Den, is where people have come to perform satanic rituals and animal sacrifices. Although the tales of the park being built on a Native American burial ground and infested with evil spirits have yet to be proven, there are altars with satanic scrawlings and pentagrams which are very real.
Sweet. So eventually we gotta walk back up these.
We kept exploring the area until we hit a dead end. A tall locked gate with concrete barriers behind it.
They might do that during the winter. Put these up.
Like you can't just go right around the gate.
It feels later, but it's only 6:20.
I didn't know my
We
flash
going
was
around
on.
this bitch?
It was beginning to get dark outside,
What's over there?
and we needed to get back to the car.
I think we gotta go back that way.
One of the most frequently heard stories is that of the albino colony in the woods, which has been there since at least the 1950s. People swear to this day that there's a group of secretive albinos who live here and hide from the visitors among the trees. When they get hungry, they'll attack lone visitors and eat them. Don't stay in Hummel Park after dark, the legend cautions, or you might fall prey to the cannibal albinos.
Just goes down into darkness.
There's like some lights down there. Oh, it's a brain.
Now it's like too dark. That night mode was specifically made for like night in the city.
Yeah.
Not
That's
fucking
what they say.
pitch black.
That's what I say.
Huh?
Says something.
On the walk back, we came across a man with a young boy sitting near the edge of a steep cliff, staring straight ahead, in the dark. They didn't say a word or even look at us when we walked by.
You see that?
What's up?
Is that a cop?
Police car lights were barely visible off in the distance, inside the park.
Where's that at? How is that over there? How is there a cop over there? Must be on one of those roads.
We decided it was a good time to leave. In the daylight, it doesn't seem so bad. Families picnic here, children play on swings, and day camps run educational programs in the summer. However, we wouldn't recommend hanging around after the sun goes down. Whether human or supernatural, the things going on here at night are something that most people want to stay far, far away from. but I'm sure we'll be back.